Welcome to Mindful Reality, the channel that covers reality TV from a mental health perspective. It's your boy, Mark, and I'm here. We haven't done our, 3 a.m. for me. I guess not the majority of you are on at 3 a.m., but 3 a.m. for me, my 3 a.m. edition of this. And it's Friday, so I'm telling you guys, when I tell you that this season has been the hardest season for me to cover, it's not because it's a hard season to cover in general, because I've covered season 24, 25, 26, and now this one. And I would say, in terms of enjoyment, if I had to rank them, the four seasons that I've been covering, I would rank 24 as the most entertaining for me. I would put this second, and I would put season 25 third, and I would put last season as last out of those four out of four. So it's not bad. It's not terrible in terms of, how much I enjoy the season or anything like that. It's been feeding me, especially this whole Rachel dynamic. She has made this season really interesting for me, like really, really interested. I'm so invested in seeing what happens with her week to week. It's like a really good story. The reason why I'm saying it's a really good story is because she's the villain in some sense because of her past experiences on past seasons. Hi, Charicity. Her past experiences on past seasons and how she's acted in previous seasons. And then you say to yourself, okay, they put a two-time winner a two-time participant and a one-time winner back on the show, and you just assume like there's no way that Rachel is going to make it to the end, right? But here's the thing about all these winners that come back. You don't expect a Dan Giesling to sit in a final two chair twice. You don't expect a Paul to sit in a final two chair twice. You don't expect a Cody to win on his second time. Well, the Cody one is more unique because All Stars is different, and I guess he was probably not the only winner on that season. I don't recall. I mean, he was probably not the only one who made a final two. Actually, no, he definitely wasn't, because I can think of Nicole F off the top of my head, who was on All Stars and finished in third place. So yeah, he was not the only one. So that was a little bit unique. But the point of the matter is, anytime there's any kind of returner season, they always have this weird thought of like, I'm gonna learn from them, work with them up to a certain point, and then we're gonna gang up on them and vote them out. And I'm not saying that that's not going to happen, but I keep saying there's a funny thing about these vets who have played the game before. They know the game, but I think really the psychological aspects are the things that the new people don't necessarily realize as much about what's going on. Like something simple like, hey, Will, I'm the HOH, but you can sleep in my HOH bed instead of me sleeping in the bed. He's sitting here thinking to himself, um, oh, I know what she's doing. I know the game. I know what the game is, and I know that she's really good, and letting me sleep in the bed is really good. But at the same time, little things like that add up with you over time, because all your comforts are taken away, and like little conversations that you have, and little ways that she's coaching people. It's a comfort. they're feeling like a comfort being around her. What's impressive to me is like seeing somebody who has to take a completely different path in order to get there. Like, I know a lot of you on my channel do not watch the challenge, but I've said this about Wes Bergman. Wes Bergman, I think, has 4 challenge wins compared to, wait, it might be 3. I think it's 3 challenge wins, as a matter of fact, compared to like 7 for Johnny Bananas, and then 7 for Johnny Bananas, and then 5, I think, for CT, and 5 for Jordan. But I think Bananas has had to play this villain role, and that's a little bit hard for him. But anyways, I'm trailing off. The 3 people who Vince decides to nominate for the block are Ava, Mickey, and Kelly. So the Kelly selection for Vince, Kelly is gonna Kelly, because I saw something about Kelly volunteering again. Kelly volunteering again to go on the block. Hi Tina, amazingly. I don't know what game. I think Kelly must want to be on the challenge or something, because Kelly is obviously not playing Big Brother at this point. She's not playing Big Brother, plain and simple. She wants to be on the block every week. I think Tucker was like that, but Tucker was, I don't know, I felt like Tucker was a little bit different. Kelly is even less rhyme and reason to what there was to Tucker. I don't understand Kelly whatsoever. But Kelly gave him an easy selection, as usual. She did this, you know what, deja vu, because Vince was the HOH week 1, and Kelly said the same thing when they made their final 2. Like, hey, Vince, if it makes it any easier on you, I want to nobly sacrifice myself to be on the block or whatever. And then, yeah, so anyways, he picks Ava, who I guess is just shot for shot. Ava put him up, he puts her up. And then the third one is Mickey. That one was a little bit, I'm not going to say that was a shock, but I'm going to say that was probably the boldest of those 3. Because, like I said, Ava simply explained. She took a shot at me, I'm taking a shot back at her. Kelly, easy choice. She's been on there several times before, and she volunteered to go again. Okay, put her back up. Mickey is the one where he had to kind of draw the line and be like, Mickey is the one where he had to draw the line and yeah, and say, I'm making it clear that I'm not on your side. So the thing with the Mickey selection is, I guess he's staying true to the judges. I don't know whether he has told Lauren yet, but I have not seen anything about Vince telling Lauren about the judges. Vince is playing, you know. I forgot, I think it was Jason who said this the other night, that Vince is playing a good game. As much as I don't like Vince's game, I'll be honest, as much as I don't like his game, he's in a decent position right now. And as far as the mustache men go, he's worlds above Joseph already. His resume is already better than Joseph. Joseph, BB26 Joseph, not BB24 Joseph. He's worlds above. Well, he's worlds above both, but I was specifically referencing last year's Joseph. He's in a decent spot. Like, he's so layered with all the people that he's working with. He has his +1. He had, honestly, it's funny and weird to think about, but he has Morgan and Lauren protecting him. And if you think about it, Morgan and Lauren both loved Zach. But game wise, they're both layers for Vinny. So he has those two. He has those two protecting him. He has Keanu feeling like they're bros because Keanu just does not. Keanu's game reads are horror awful, as I said before. Horrible and awful combined to make horror awful. Right? His game reads are so terrible. And he thinks that him and Vinny are so aligned when they're not. And then there's the judges who he has, worked his way into. Oh, who's the judges again? I know him. I know Will, Morgan, Rachel, and Ashley. Okay, that was it. Morgan, Rachel, and Ashley. Will, Vince. So basically, him and Morgan formed this smaller group and attached themselves to Rachel, Ashley, and Will. And then there's subgroups within that. There is Morgan and Vince, and then there is Ashley and Will, and there's Rachel and Will. Yeah, Mimi left. Mimi gave me a cameo, which I've been posting little pieces of it. I will post the whole thing in its entirety, most likely maybe tomorrow. But Mimi was like, "This is a weird season where there's sides of the house, but then this side is working with that side. These two people are working with that two people. Like it's a weird season in terms of it's not one of those seasons. They keep referencing a half. I keep saying this all the time. The house guests keep referencing a half. Oh, you upset this half of the house and this half of the house and this half of the house, and I'm like, I'm not even viewing it that way because I'm not really seeing this in halves like that. This half and that half. So, because it changes week to week. And you know what? I remember people on my channel complaining and saying they don't like modern day Big Brother because it's too many halves and too much unanimous stuff. You got something different today. I mean, you got something different this time around. If you think about it, because last week was 5-4, and it was a hair split of a decision, right? And then the week before that was like 8-4. I think 8-4. I want to say, and alliances keep changing up and flipping up. So this Helter Skelter thing, I'll say this, right? Am I the biggest fan of the three nominees? No, it changes the game. But at the same time, I think that Big Brother, from a production standpoint, probably got their desired outcome. Because I think BB Blockbuster probably makes people more excited, especially newer fans. It probably makes them more excited to tune in on Thursdays and gives them a way, an excuse to slide out, showing us the beginning of the HOH competition like they used to. Because I remember when I first started watching, we used to be able to watch the first few minutes of the HOH comp on at the end of the episode, and then slide on over to the feeds and watch the remainder. I was multitasking. Story of my life. It's funny because at the beginning of this live, I was making a point. I still remember the point, and I never finished it. The point was this season has been one of the hardest for me to cover, and the reason is because in the 4 years that I've been doing this, I've never had so much to do, and I've never had so much on my mind at the same time. It's tough. I love doing this, but it's tough to maintain. It's not a regular thing for me to. I was never falling asleep before I was doing lives. That might have happened once in a blue on a really long, difficult day. But on an average day, I get on here and like Friday. Friday was always my live day. Friday was always like a major live day because I'm off work. I don't have to work Saturday, you know. So I was like, okay, Friday, I can get on here and I can stay on here for hours, and that's what I was doing. Friday was like one of my most popular days for live. Now, I get back. First of all, the the HOH noms are happening so late now, later and later. So I'll be like, I'm gonna get on here and talk about these noms, and then they wait until like 8 o'clock Eastern for the feeds to return, for me to even know who the noms are. I guess Vince. I don't think that he's gonna win, but I think. I mean, I can't even say he's definitely gonna make jury because I think next week is gonna be the week. Like whoever goes out next week, I think everyone else is gonna be in the jury, and depending on who wins that HOH, the two HOHs, I think it's gonna be a double evict. He could be a casualty of that, but we'll see. But if I had to, guess or put money on it, I think Vince makes. I think Vince makes a final five. I do think Vince makes final five. I could be wrong. It's just a guess. I wouldn't bet my house on that one, but if I had to make a guess, that would be my guess. Mickey, I'm good if Mickey goes home. I'm scaring you. Well, here's a way for me not to scare you. Bye. Kelly to It's the funny thing with Kelly. I don't know if you watched the Traders. I think it was the Traders season. Damn, I can't remember if it was season 1 or 2. I think that Kate. Okay, I know that Kate was on the season with Phaedra, and that was season 2. So okay, I know. Kate was on the season with Phaedra. That was season 2. So that means Kate was on season 1. So season 1 of the Traders, Kate got to a point. People were accusing her of being a traitor, and she was a faithful. And then she was like, just like, I don't want to be here. 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 And that became a strategy. And strangely, I feel like Kate being like, Kelly being like, put me on the block the first couple of weeks was like, oh, I'm being valiant and I'm sacrificing myself and this and that. And then I feel like after some time, it became a strategy for her also. Like, oh, I'm going to be the one who has this big comp resume and whatever, whatever. I'm not really making any teeth in the game in terms of strategy and in terms of alliances and stuff like that. But the thing that I do have is that I'm the queen of comps. Like if y'all saw my video or my partial video that I put up so far of Mimi's cameo to me, she said that Lauren's game is a game, and she was explaining it. I don't necessarily think as highly of Lauren as she does, but I can see her points that she's making, where being aloof and being like, oh, I don't really know, guide me. The difference between what she thinks and what I think is that Mimi thinks that it's more intentional strategy, whereas I think that people just kind of at times fall into roles, right? Because like a Rachel Riley, very strategic. You can't 100% plan for the game because you don't know who's going to be in there. You don't know the personalities. You don't know who's going to be this type of player, this type of player. You don't know how people are going to react to certain things. But obviously, she is excellent about reading people. So when she got into the house, she scoped everyone out. She figured out personalities. This one is the strong, dominant type, so you got to play to his ego. This one is really meek, and so you've got to boost her up by giving her compliments. This one is an alpha female, so you've got to be like, hey, girl, you are right there on my level. This one is this. This one is coy. So you've got to be kind of coy when you talk to them because game recognized game, blah, 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 blah. And she figured out, she pre-planned, I'm sure she pre-planned some things and came in there with some of these people, they're less prepared. Not just because they haven't done it, but because they don't even think that way. And I believe that Lauren is one of them. That's the honest truth. However, when I say I will give Mimi a point, I will give her a point that it's possible that she could know herself and be like, this is my brand of gameplay. It's not like anyone else's. Like in Ava, the first couple of weeks, I just said, Ava's is the weird girl, you know, and she's not really playing. She's just doing her own thing, whatever. But then over the past couple of weeks, especially when she got the HOH, I was like, no, she's gaming. Her gaming does not look like a traditional gamer's game, but it's game. And it took her some time to get comfortable and adjust herself, and I can understand that fully with the position I'm in now with my job. It definitely was. She's cocky. Even when they put up Riley, she was like, I told them put me. That was crazy to me. Rachel adapts to each player. She's a chameleon. And it kind of reminded me in a sense of Sari. Sari's game did not translate the best to Big Brother. And this is the reason why, in my opinion. In a game like Big Brother, so she won the traders. And the thing with the traders is that it's a shorter game, and then because she was a trader, she had a chance. They had two chances. So they eliminate somebody. If she does not get caught at the round table, they eliminate somebody, and then they get to choose a person to kill out of the game. And it's a shorter game. There's less time to figure people out. You know, there's the eliminations are faster. But in a Big Brother house, over the course of a big 100-day season, there's so much time to figure out her type of gameplay. She was not built for the long game, and obviously Rachel is built for the long game. So she's a little bit better at Big Brother than a Sari was at Big Brother. That's not to say that Sari could have never been good at Big Brother, but it's just like when I do my fitness competitions, there are some of them that are shorter ones and some of them that are longer ones, and depending on which one it is, I have advantages and disadvantages of each one. Lauren just is playing dumb. Yeah, that's what Mimi was saying, but I don't I want to say in the nicest way possible. I want to say that I think that only some of it is playing. that's that's the best way that I could put it. It's like when Edward said yesterday, I'm not saying that she's mentally what did I forgot what he said. I don't think that she's mentally ill. Oh no, I know what he said. I don't know if she's crazy, but I don't know if she's okay mentally. That statement to me was six of one and half a dozen of another. I'm not a big Sari fan. I'm a big Sari fan. I mean, I didn't see the Survivor days aside from watching the highlights. It's different for me with these old people, with these like old TV show people that come back because I never saw them in their heyday. I was not a Survivor fan and I was not a Big Brother fan. So I'm seeing all these guys, I'm seeing all these people for the first time in action right now. And it's interesting seeing them and navigate different eras because it's like I'm watching Rachel over there, Sari on a couple of shows in the modern era, which actually I have to catch. Survivor, what is it? Survivor Australia versus the World or something like that. I still haven't watched any of that, and I need to watch it. And then Dan Giesling on the Traders, Rachel was on the Traders. But when I see them, I'm watching them, and I'm like, some people were born to do these games. Some people are just gamers by nature. Some people get in the game and they just learn and navigate, figure things out, and other people get in the game and the game just swallows them up, and then they just want to go home. But anyways, I am done here. I'm probably gonna hop on here again tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow is gonna be the veto comp. So we're gonna see what happens with the veto comp, and we're gonna see who wins the veto comp, and that's gonna make a big difference. We're gonna see if there's going to be a renom, or we're gonna see if the noms are gonna stay the same. If the noms stayed the same, I think Mickey is in the same position she was in last week, where she's a goner unless she wins the BB blockbuster. Because, well, I don't know. Yeah, I think they would vote Mickey out against Kelly because I know for sure they'd vote her out against Ava. I was thinking a little bit, would she get voted out against Kelly? And I think that the answer is yes. Despite the fact that Kelly is pump faking and Kelly continues to want to go on the block, like I still think that Kelly would get voted out. um, they're rigging it. I don't know. I don't know. I truthfully am not so much of a conspiracy theorist. The only reason why I'm on the iffy side about the Riley thing is because a couple of reasons. I heard that Riley was spoken to by production the day of the day of eviction night, and then it was so weird how we didn't see Mickey's role, and it looked staged. It gave staged. It really gave staged a little bit, but I'm still not 100% there to say that it was staged. It could have been a case of it just being really disorganized, and the camera person, I don't even know why the camera person would honestly pan her out while she was rolling. I mean, it could have been an honest mistake. I don't know. Some people don't take much to convince of the conspiracies, but I'm always like 50-50 on it for certain ones, for this one, as an example. But yeah, anyways, Mickey needs to get off the block to stay in this game for sure. She will not have the votes, and I think Mickey will be surprised if it ever comes down to votes for her, because I think that Mickey believes that she has people behind her and that she has votes behind her, and she really does not, because the reason Vince put her on the block is because of these people, Ashley, Rachel, um, Ava, he already knows where Morgan, where people have told him their numbers lie. That's the thing that gave him the confidence to put her up in the first place. Because if he didn't think that, if he didn't, not even just think, if he didn't have people literally tell him, put her on the block, I will vote her out, he would not do that on his own. And Mickey is Keanu Light in a sense, because Mickey just doesn't realize Vince being a wishy-washy player, why would he make the move to put her up like that if he didn't think he had the numbers? It almost kind of reminds me of Amira, and shout out to Amira. Not like Amira in the sense of personality or anything, because y'all know I like Amira. But the thing with Amira was, I remember when the leftovers put her on the block, and I remember her diary room specifically because I had to rewatch that season when I was supposed to do that interview with her. And she was like, what gives Turner the confidence to put me on the block? Does he think that he has some kind of like numbers or whatever? Like, she was so surprised when she got voted out, but he did have the numbers. And that is the reason why he decided to put her on the block, because he had the numbers, but she didn't realize that. Mickey is delusional. She got possessed by another person when she became HOH. Yeah, Mickey's reads on the game, to me, were really solid prior to becoming HOH. And then the Jimmy move made absolutely no sense. He was on her side. He wasn't gunning for her. Basically, Mickey thought that Jimmy was essentially Vince. She was basically viewing Jimmy in the way that Vince should be viewed. But that's why I'm kind of giving Vince a little more credit, because despite the fact that I hate his style of game, he's more cunning than some of the others. Like, the whole crying thing and self-deprecating thing. Yeah, maybe part of that is a part of his personality, but I think he definitely exaggerates that to make people feel sorry for him, to make people feel like, oh, I'm just a human being. Like, listen, week one, I think it was week one when he became HOH. I remember Ashley going into his HOH room and having a one-on-one with him, talking to him and crying and being like, oh, I trusted you, Vince. I never thought that you would put me up, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, my God, I'm so sorry. And then he says to her, how about this? If I win HOH, if I win Power Veto and take you off, would you then trust me again? And she's like, yeah, I would. I would. That would show me that you're worth trusting or whatever. And then he was like, then I'll do that. Done. I will, if I win the Power Veto, I will definitely take you off. And then he says in the diary room, am I gonna take her off if I win power of veto? Absolutely not. But if it gives a chance to like lessen the chance of her going after me later, then I'm willing to do it. And I'm basically seeing him do that with Morgan. I mean, I'll have to see when they show the edited episode, but Morgan, not Morgan, I'm messing up these names. Mickey. Sorry, it's late for me. Mickey, I saw a little bit of her tonight before I fell asleep, talking to Vince, and then I saw Vince telling her, "Oh my goodness, I had an epiphany. I never should have put you up." She's crying to him. I feel like he's still playing that same game where he's playing up his wishy-washiness. Like I genuinely believe that he is wishy-washy, but I think he's magnifying that as a strategy. Like, oh, I'm so sorry I put you up because I didn't have all this information. If I had known how you felt, or if I had known this thing that you just told me, I never would have put you up. They played me. Uh, like blah blah blah. He's working on Keanu because he talked to Keanu. That's the angle he's using with Keanu. Keanu doesn't really even have an inkling, I think, of this judges thing and how Vince is aligned with Rachel and he's on the outside of the judges. Yo, Keanu is gonna be tripped out when he gets out of that house and watches it, or even if he doesn't watch it all, even if he gets briefed by Julie and sees some clips and stuff, he's gonna be like, wow, I was so off about so many things. But I think Keanu is gonna be pretty cool and a fan favorite when he gets out, to be honest. I believe, I don't know this for sure, but I believe he's gonna be able to laugh at himself a little bit. He could come out and be totally opposite of what I'm saying and be a prick and just have no sense of humor, but I get the feeling that he will be able to laugh at himself outside of the house. He keeps saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be the guy everyone in America sees as a crybaby." Yeah, everything, all that stuff is fake to me. Crying to Rachel and crying to this person, crying to Mickey and crying to Morgan. Not as much Morgan. He likes her, but most anyone else except for like Morgan. I feel like Morgan is the only one who sees anything real. Morgan and to a lesser extent Lauren are the two people that see the most sides of the real Vinny, but everyone else is getting this super fake version of him. Yeah, anyways, I'm out for real now. Like, comment, subscribe.